welcome to the A Bit of AI show with your hosts, Henk and Amy.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 7th A Bit of AI show with myself, Henk Boelman, and Amy Boyd. We both work at Microsoft as cloud advocates in the AI space. Hey Amy, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Yeah, very good, very good. Excited, very excited for our guest today and for her to share her stories with us. Also, we've got lots of good learning at the end as well. And I'm still shocked by being able to get my hair done that every time I see our little caricature, I know I said this last week, but it's out of date. I might need to update it.
Oh, the little things that can make you happy nowadays.
I know.
So in this show, we talk with many people from around the globe because we realized that there are so many different skilled people involved in creating an AI solution, from pre-sales and consultancy to creating the deep neural networks itself and running them in production. So in this show, we invite people from all over the world just to talk about what they actually do. So this is the 7th episode, and we couldn't be more excited for our guests. So in today's show, we have 2 items. We're going to start with our guest Ines and talk about her life in AI. And finally, we dive into the AI Learning Challenge of the week. And always, every link and all the information is available on abitofai.show.
Wonderful. And obviously as well, don't forget that we have our A Bit of AI Cafe. So this idea that after the show, you can come along and speak with ourselves, but I'm pretty sure you'll want to speak to our guests more and actually have just that kind of coffee chat feel that's not recorded. And it means that we can all, we've shared links in the past, we've shared advice. It's been a really nice start to building a little community. So join us at aka.ms/abitofai-cafe.
Cool. So let's get started. Hi Ines, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Wonderful. So, Ines, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. We have had the opportunity to speak with you before with our global AI community, but it felt so right to have you on this show because you have such a unicorn role. You really will be able to give us some really interesting insights, we believe. So I guess first things first, let's just get straight away started. And can you tell us who you are and what you do in the space of AI?
Yeah, so I'm Ines Montani. I'm the co-founder of a company called Explosion, and we're probably most well known for Spacey, which is an open source library for natural language processing in Python, and it's quite popular. And we have a lot of users, and we're building a lot of exciting stuff around it. And we're also developing Prodigy, which is an annotation tool for creating training data for machine learning models. So, in summary, we work in the developer tools space. So we build software or AI software for AI software developers.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it's like the meta version of AI where it's like, we definitely need these tools, right? That means that we can make it sort of more democratized. So always a good one. And some people might know Spacey. I think a lot of people definitely know what Spacey is. If you've used natural language processing tools before, Spacey is a wonderful package. If you haven't, go check it out. If you go to our website, abitofai.show, we can pop some links on there from Ines, and you're able to then go and do a little bit more research into this wonderful software and tooling. But Ines, let's get started. We always start with the average day. The average day is hard in tech, but if you were to average out all your days, what does it look like? What do you do on a daily basis in your role?
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be quite boring, and I don't know how representative it is because our company has always been remote, and I do actually really enjoy working from home. So I don't have a commute, I don't go to an office. I literally just sit at home in front of my laptop. And at the moment, it's a bit different because normally I live in Berlin, in Germany, but at the moment I'm in Australia due to the pandemic. And so I'm, kind of having to adjust my day around the time zones. And, being able to talk to our team in Europe and, in the US, in other places. So, yeah, I get up quite late, probably on the scale of most people and most people's jobs. It's also kind of a habit I picked up from Berlin because nothing's open early in Berlin anyway. So there's kind of no point in being up early if you don't have to. I get up, get a coffee. Coffee is kind of difficult, even though Australia has good coffee, but we've been kind of going from apartment to apartment. Not every apartment has a good coffee machine. So that can, if I have good coffee in the morning, that's great. And then, I start my day. Normally I catch up on emails. It's actually pretty nice being ahead of everyone because it means I can get all my stuff done, my inbox cleared before anyone else even wakes up. Like even on a Monday, I'm like, yay, my Monday's done. And everyone else is still asleep or everyone else is still having their Sunday. So that's really cool. We've been using a really cool email collaboration tool. I assign emails to people, clear my inbox, Slack, and then, go about my day really. During the afternoon, I have kind of a period where everyone else is asleep again. So I can get some non-work stuff done, go to the gym, get some shopping done, stuff like that. And then I do another night shift talking to our team in Europe. And that's basically my day. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no, I hear you on the kind of splitting your day or being able to have that fueling of coffee to keep you going between each time zone. And I Europe's interesting, right? Because we get to cross over with you in our morning, which is your evening, and then we'll do kind of our day, and then the US come online. And Henk, I know we know how our inboxes explode. It's like, oh my goodness,
I remember that feeling from when I was in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And then, but like that feeling of being able to get stuff. Yeah. Well, that feeling of being able to get stuff done is actually really good. Like sometimes I do feel like I'm like actually having that space is really useful to focus. So it's interesting to hear you split the two parts of the day as well, and actually that you've worked remotely for a very long time. That's just always been a thing, has it, with Explosion? Yeah.
Yeah, because we also have people in different time zones and places. So, yeah.
That's great. And then I guess our next thing was we wanted to talk to you a little bit about your actual projects, because I'm sure people want to know kind of what's going on. So what are you working on at the moment? What's interesting for you?
Yeah, so at the moment, we actually just somewhat recently released a new version of Spacey 3, which kind of introduces a bunch of new features, really gets the library and the models up to the current or the latest state of the art, and makes it a lot easier for people to train complex pipelines, and also brings in a bit of workflow management stuff, because we've seen that was always a problem of, okay, your whole project, it consists of many different steps. You're training something, evaluating something, you have data from different sources, that type of stuff. So that really, Spacey 3 really brings a lot of cool new features for that. And we're obviously always working on new versions, new improvements, new components for different types of NLP tasks. So that's one thing we're working on. Then we're also working on Prodigy, our annotation tool. There's always stuff to do. There's users to talk to. There are new features to develop. And for a while now, we've been working on Prodigy Teams, which is basically more of a software as a service version of Prodigy that runs in the cloud, but without compromising on the privacy and descriptability. So there's kind of this private cloud part of it that anyone can host themselves, which means no data has to leave your servers. You can write Python code. You can use your own custom models that you've trained while still having that cool experience of like, hey, I'll just log in online, send a link to my annotators, invite my team to it, look at a dashboard, that kind of stuff. So that's been in the works for a while, and we're still working on that. We've recently started working with a few new team members, so that's all pretty exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I love, the team aspect is so important. I think we've seen that as a theme across a lot of our guests, where it's kind of been everyone working on their own in the past a little bit, and now there's a lot of ask for that sort of more collaboration and easy access to tools and all of that kind of stuff. And obviously data privacy, wonderful way to look into it. Data's the fuel of data science and machine learning, so incredibly important. And when you're working on these types of projects, how does some of them come about? Like, what is there literally just like you're seeing trends, you're speaking to people in the community and kind of hearing them, and then like coming back as a team and cooking something up, or how does that kind of come about?
Yeah, I mean, I do think obviously everything we're doing is sort of motivated by solving problems or helping people solve problems that they're having and making developers more productive. And often, that also involves a bit more than just like, listening to what people want and building it. We really want to think about what are people really trying to do? How can we offer them some best practices and ways and tools, obviously, to solve the problem. So Prodigy, for example, was kind of born out of, I think we launched that in 2017. So it's been out for quite a while. We started building that even before that. And it was sort of the annotation tool that we wanted to use to create data for our projects. And it was also very strongly motivated by what we saw when we did a few consulting projects early on. So to bootstrap the company for a few months, we actually did. So we like to call this raising a client round. So we didn't go and, raise like some seed or angel investment. We actually, we did some market analysis by building stuff for people for money. And that's how we initially funded the company. But it also meant we got to see what people were doing, and data labeling and data annotation, creating training data always came up. And, back then it was really people would just throw it on Mechanical Turk and then, have someone label it, not care about it. Data would come back and they're like, why is this so bad? And it's like, well, you want to, it's a component of your application. You want to iterate on it. You want to develop it the way you develop your code. You don't expect that you could just outsource, you're not going to email your spec to someone and they'll implement it. As a developer, you're going to build it, and you need several tries. You might have an idea and then it turns out that doesn't work. And then you go back and iterate on it until it works. And the same is the case for data. And, when also, speaking of trends, there are a lot of things we've been, anticipating for a long time, including things like transfer learning that now actually work quite reliably. And it means, or quite well, it's quite exciting that, you can really take learn a lot of knowledge about, for example, the world and the language from a lot of raw text, like, news, Wikipedia, whatever you have, and transfer that onto other problems. So you're not starting from scratch. You're starting with a model that already knows a lot about certain things and can embed that and encode that. And so that's been really cool. And that also means that you don't actually need millions and millions of examples and annotations anymore. You need a few, but you need the right ones and you need good ones. And that's the part that you want to be iterating on. And that's kind of what inspired Prodigy. So it's really from, working with people, working in the field ourselves, and seeing what interesting challenges there are and what people want to do.
Wonderful. Well, for anyone out there who hasn't used Explosion AI's different products, or you haven't seen them, go check them out. If you go to our website, abitofai.show, you can find them there.
Excellent. So now let's talk a little bit about you. So I'm interested in how you got started with AI.
Yeah, so I don't have the very typical computer science background, but then again, probably not everyone in the field does. So I got into programming as a teenager because I was really into making websites. That was my number one hobby. That's how I spent all of my time, as a teenager. But I didn't actually choose to go into computer science because at the time I felt like, I don't know, am I a real programmer? Am I gonna, fit in with that idea, which, is kind of dumb looking back, but it's just sort of how you feel. I was also very young when I finished school. So I studied communication, media science, and linguistics. And that's sort of kind of the first part of the puzzle. And in NLP especially, I feel like I really found a way to combine all the things I liked and all the things I was passionate about, including, language, obviously, but also programming, the kind of product aspect of it. Like, how do you take something and make it useful for people? How do you document and present things for people? How do you, explain to developers how to interpret certain things and how to, use things and think about them? And so that was all very exciting. And it basically, I met my co-founder, Matt, who's also the original author of Spacey, very early on. And when he had just released Spacey, I think, he was just writing on it, working towards the first stable release. And then shortly after, I started working on a project. We built a bunch of stuff together. And that's how we ended up founding Explosion. And yeah.
Oh gosh, I really I like that you said linguistics, but you were kind of already into programming because of the website. I've been reading I read a book recently called Rebel Ideas by Matthew Said, if anyone wants to check it out. Great book, really, really easy read, lots of good little stories. But he talks a lot about actually some of the key innovations in our society have come from people who have brought together two completely different parts of society, really. And so the idea that you studied pure linguistics and that then obviously has given you such amazing insight that's not purely technical has allowed this such a successful outcome that so many people find useful. It's phenomenal. You're like a real life explanation of what you described in the book.
No, actually, it's an interesting take because I do feel like, also when I really realized like, oh, this is the field I want to be working in, it's when I realized like, okay, I can bring together two things I'm passionate about and, or more. And these are maybe things that, I don't know, aren't even the standard things people think of, but like it is possible. And I do think that is sort of, I don't know, maybe a bit of the secret of finding like a career that suits you, is, combining things you like and finding a field where you can do that.
That's so true. That's so true. But we'll probably now sideline you a little bit because Henk has this famous question for you that is the most difficult question of the show. So Henk, take it away.
Cool, yeah. So what is the most annoying thing about your role in AI?
Okay. I mean, my role, I'm not even sure if it's so directly related to my role, but AI, I think even more generally, AI, it's kind of already in the name. There's just so many expectations you have to manage that people have that are based on misinformation and wrong ideas that are spread about what AI is about and what it means. And, artificial intelligence, the idea of like, oh, are robots going to take over the world? But also I feel like there has been a lot of very unethical PR in the past about, what it means if, a model predicts something, that there can be systems that are 99% accurate at predicting whether someone is going to commit a crime, stuff like that. I think these things are all very harmful. And, often reading like sort of more general mainstreamish media coverage of AI sometimes leaves me very frustrated because I'm like, no, this is not how, anyone should be viewing this. And it's actually very, very harmful to people to get these ideas about what the technology can do or supposedly can do when it actually can't and works quite differently.
Yeah, no, it's such a good one. Managing expectations is hard anyway with anything in technology. But I think, you're right with the brand sort of AI that comes across it. Sometimes it feels even more so. And then, a lot of things going on out there around ethical AI. What can we do in that space? It's not a solved problem. That's such a good answer to a very difficult question. So nice one. Okay, so time is going way too fast, unfortunately. We could speak to you forever. But one of the things that we do with every guest is we go through our quickfire questions. So our quickfire question round is 6 questions for you in around 6 minutes. And what we want to do is we want you to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. And if possible, keep it as short as possible as well. So Inez, are you ready?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. Okay, first one's nice and easy. So what was your first programming language?
I'm supposed to keep it short. Anyways, if you want to count HTML, CSS, then that. Otherwise, probably JavaScript.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I did Perl. I did something in Perl and PHP before that. I don't know. Anyways, I don't remember.
We've had PHP before, but Perl's I think is a new one. So nice one throwing that in there. And yeah, you were web deving. HTML, CSS counts, right? It's everyone's like initial step. I love that. So yeah,
I mean, it is Turing complete as well. Fun fact. We could probably include a fun link for people who have not seen this, Turing complete proof with HTML and CSS. It's more of a fun thing to look at. We can put that in the show notes.
Wonderful. Let's do that.
Cool. Then, an easier question. What programming language was used in the last project you worked on?
I
Python.
Everyone.
I think we've only had one person that's answered anything different actually at this point. Cool. So what was the last thing you learned in AI in no more than a sentence?
I'm not. Oh, no. DevOps. Intro to DevOps. A very rough idea of DevOps. Those were I guess 3 sentences. But I don't want to claim I learned anything about DevOps. But I learned a bit more than I knew before. So yeah.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yes. What is your favorite event on the AI calendar?
Well, that's a tricky one. I should say our own conference, Spacey IRL, which was really amazing, which we did in 2019 in a really cool venue in Berlin, and we're going to do again in 2020, but had to cancel. So because I do think the real life aspect of it was very cool. There's a place for online conferences and events, but it's just kind of not the same.
Yeah, no, that's such a good one.
Do you have already a new date? 2021, 2022?
I don't know. We don't have a date yet. Maybe 22 could be doable. I don't know. I don't want to make too ambitious plans, but we definitely want to bring it back, and we want to bring it back as a real live event in a similar format, because that just worked very well, and it was really a lot of fun.
Nice. Hank, just note down, we need to get ourselves a ticket. Okay. So what area of AI is on your list to skill up on next? So what are you looking at learning next?
I want to look a bit more into computer vision, especially computer vision OCR, where you have images with text, and you're trying to extract the text from it, which is harder than it sounds. And maybe working with slightly mixed media content, having model, incorporating layout features of a document into a machine learning model. Into an NLP model. That's all quite interesting and very close to what people are working on and what's currently still quite hard.
Wonderful.
And then final question. What training framework did you use last?
As in machine learning framework, machine learning library to train? Well, actually, probably our own machine learning library, Think, which powers Spacey, because that's kind of what you mostly get out of the box if you just train a model. I think. But Spacey also, you can now also train PyTorch TensorFlow models with Spacey and have components powered by different libraries. But mostly our own.
Wonderful. That answer was great. I'm going to love it. I'm thinking of putting together actually all the answers that our guests have said, and I think that'd be a great one to show that you was on the show as well. Your own framework, right? The thing that powers Spacey. But thank you so much, Inez. You survived the quickfire round. Of course you did. It was a wonderful round with wonderful answers. And yeah, unfortunately, we will have to cut our conversation a little short. Hopefully we can have you back on the show in another series that we do. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. We will see you very soon.
Cool. Yeah, and of course we will have a little bit longer chat with Ines in the A Bit of AI Cafe after this episode. So that brings us almost to the end of this this episode again. So I just want to highlight one event that's going to take place this Saturday. It is the Global AI Student Conference, and you can find everything you want to know about this conference on aiconf.education. It's on 24th of April from 10 to 6 UTC, and there will be 16 talks about all the different things from machine learning, AI, from bots up to actual machine learning servers. We will have some panels on how to get started with machine learning, and a little bit of information about our Student Ambassador program. So Amy, it's time for the Learn module of the week. What did you pick?
Absolutely. Oh, this one was an easy one, right? Like I knew exactly what I was going to pick. So I've got one module and one whole path of information for you. So we have an explore and analyze data with Python. But we also have explore natural language processing as a whole. So it's got multiple different things in there that you can try out, from speech services to text services, etc. But obviously, remember as well, go to abitofai.show and learn about Spacey and everything that Explosion AI does that can help you with learning about data science. So if you want to take part in our challenge this week, go to aka.ms/abitofai-learn, or click just above if you're on the website. And let's round off this show. We just want to say, as always, a huge thank you to those that join us every week. If you're new to the show, we hope you've enjoyed it. And just to let you know, we are here every Thursday, 10 a.m. CET. And so we cover a lot of sort of evening time in Australia and coming across the world into Europe. So if it's for you, share it with a friend, let them know. Do come and join us in the abitofai.cafe, which is aka.ms/abitofai-cafe, to have a slightly more informal chat straight after the show. And with that, just a big thank you for watching. Henk, any last comments on this show?
No, except that it is also available as a podcast on your favorite platform.
Of course, I always forget to mention the podcast. Yeah, go and find our podcast. It's on the website, abitofai.show. And with that, a huge thank you for watching A Bit of AI with Henk and Amy.
Thank you. See you next week.